everyone, it's Tobes from thguitarist.com. We are doing another beginner lesson. This one is about bar chords. Brain stopping. Jonathan asked me about bar chords, so I thought I'd quickly mention it. These are not a friendly chord. They once you get past the initial open chords, that position, you've only got three or four frets really that you use those chords in, unless you're using the same shape, moving it up the neck, which is another possibility, of course. So the bar chords, if you don't know what they are, you'll find out very quickly. Using this finger to push down the notes. And so you can play, you're using your other three fingers, or two, or whatever the chord is. Your finger is essentially taking place of the nut of the guitar. So if I play an E major chord with my last three fingers, then I move up to a F, my first finger replaces the nut and becomes the bar. Hence the name bar chord. Alright, that's it. So the idea is that your first finger takes care of where the open strings would be. So any of the chords that you're playing in open position, whatever they are, you can usually, most of the time, turn it into a bar chord. Now the trick is, they're not easy because a lot of people, I think, are doing them wrong. I actually broke my wrist a long time ago and it's not been the same since, so I get a sore hand playing bar chords anyway. But what you can do, a few tricks, using the first finger, you can push it on the guitar. I find if I'm trying to push directly on, like the very front of my finger, it feels weird and uncomfortable and I feel, yeah, it's just not right. So in general, the hand is slightly turned this way, so you're coming off the corner or the edge of the finger rather than the front part. And also, depending on the chord you're playing, you may not need to be holding down excuse me, as many strings as you think. You don't have to hold down all 6 strings. A lot of the time what I will do is, if you can see my finger, it's bent. So all I'm really doing is holding down. Oh, I've got it wrong. Hey. I'm holding down 2 notes with that. If I apply these fingers, I've got that one, and that one's dead again. So I'm pushing down a little harder with the first finger. So now I'm just holding down actually 3 strings, the 6th, 2nd and 1st, and the other 3 strings are taken care of with those fingers. So this is to try and avoid using too much energy. The more you analyze what chords you're playing, you can shift your hand accordingly to which strings you're using, how many, and all that sort of thing. So what you can do, one way I was shown years ago is you lean the guitar back a little bit and you let the weight of your arm pull your finger onto the strings. Your thumb is not really meant for a clamp. If you use that as a clamp, you get a cramp in your wrist and it just hurts really quickly, and that's not what we want. So you can kind of use the weight of your arm, a little bit of thumb to sort of keep your finger in the right position, but essentially we just want to use that weight. And because the guitar's angled back a little bit, it's pushing down onto the strings. We don't want to push so hard it's all bending the strings out of tune. So that's one way. Angle the guitar back, use the weight of the arm. A way I use, and I play a lot more acoustic guitar than electric these days, but what I would do, I will pull the guitar back with my right hand, with my forearm or bicep or whatever, so the guitar pulls this way. Then you use your finger to pull this way, but using the bicep rather than clamping with the thumb. So that creates this pivot point. This guitar is extremely easy to play as well, so that's the other thing actually, before I forget, the action on your guitar, the height of the strings. I've had students come to me and they go, oh, I can't play bar chords. And they give me their guitar and I look at it and say, well, I can't play a bar chord on this. You can drive a truck under the strings, it's ridiculous. So if you've got a cheap, crappy guitar, doesn't mean it's not good. You can still play it. If it sounds good, you can hopefully play it. But the main thing is take it to a guitar repairer and just see if they can make it as easy to play as possible without the horrible buzz, those kind of noises. And change the strings, please. I've had students come to me with strings that look like they're older than Australia. I don't know. Anyway, so the other one, the second thing was, pull back with the right hand. If you're right-handed, pull back with the right hand. Pull back with the bicep of the left arm, which pulls your finger onto the strings. It just makes it a bit cleaner and easier when you're not squeezing the hell out of the guitar neck. The other thing is the muting part. This one is fine, and for muting is you can just release your fingers. I'm just pinching on and off while leaving my fingers where they are. And then the next one, like that's the E-shaped chord. Now we have the A-shaped chord. There's a few ways of playing it. I generally, if I don't want this note, if I don't want that one in there, I will play it with my fourth finger. You can play it with your third. I have been ripped off, and my third finger does not bend backwards at that joint, so that sucks. Some people are lucky and it just goes, mine does not. So my last finger bends a little bit more, so I find that comfortable. I can play bar chords for quite a while. It's not even barring really, barring this finger, but this finger's just taking care of the root note, and the tip of this finger is muting the E string. Good thing to note. You can play it with both those strings, and then you're muting it. Top string. Top string's muted by my fourth finger in general. If I want that note in there, I will play it. That was buzzy. I'll play it with the last three fingers instead if I want that note in there. And the more you play guitar, the more you want to actually take advantage of you're playing it. You play it the way you want to play it. You want your sound. If you don't want that note in the top, don't use it. It doesn't matter. That note is in the chord lower on anyway. These chords are only made up of 3 notes. That's not 3. There we go. 3 notes. So you start to experiment. Don't play all the strings all the time, even if you can. You know, just muck around with these shapes. If you do get a cramp in your hand, just release the pressure. Take your hand off stretches like this, and with the thumb pulling back like this. They're all a good thing, especially if you're going to practice bar chords or even anything really. If you, it's like sport. If you want to warm up first, you're less likely to hurt yourself. But if you do get cramps, stop playing, have a rest, take it up again in 10-20 minutes or the next day. You don't want to get cramps. So yeah, with your bar chords, try and make sure you can get all of the notes. Like just let your hand be relaxed and just put it on the strings and practice getting that sound. It's weird, like I can hear buzzes on mine, I don't know if they're coming through. But I'm trying to do it without my thumb. And I'm using the technique where I'm pulling back with my right hand and pulling back with the bicep on the left, just to get the sound of all 6 strings. Now, I don't think I ever actually play that. If I do, it's generally like in a chord, like this kind of chord. But if I am going to play all 5 or 6 in a bar chord situation, generally it will be. So I have to have. That'll do. That's bar chords sorted. That's it from me. See you next time. Have a good one and keep up the practice.